Hey, this is Ronald from Math Skills University, and today I want to introduce you to Gimp 3.0. If you're trying to find a graphic editor that works on anything in Linux, Windows, on a Mac, and it's free, this is the program to try. I have a complete playlist on Gimp, but also I have an introduction to Gimp here, 1 and 2, and these are extremely detailed, so check those out. And these are the three free graphic design programs that I use. Gimp.org, you have Krita from Krita.org, and then you have Inkscape from Inkscape.org. Download Gimp, install it, and I'll see you on the other side. What I did was I looked on YouTube and in Google to figure out what people are searching for and what are some of the things that people are trying to do in Gimp. And I came up with this. So I'm going to try to go over as many of these things as I possibly can. Let's get started. Welcome to Gimp 3.0. When you first load Gimp, you'll see something like this. Here I can go to the Gimp website, check out tutorials. I can go down here and look at documentation. I can actually donate or contribute to the team, giving them my ideas, my feedback, or you can also donate to the Gimp project. Again, Gimp is open source, it's 100% free. If I go over here to personalize, this is where I can change what my screen looks like. So these icons should be color, they should be larger, and we can change that right here. I can change the theme and play with this. Icons by default, or use legacy, and that makes some color. You want to make sure you change that, and I'll show you how to do that inside the program as well. These icons are too small for me, so I want to enable this, and then I can make these icons bigger like that just by clicking over here. I can make the text also bigger, but that's how that works. Down here, title bar, merge menus, update checks, things like that. If I'm highlighted on something over here, I want to see the tool groups down here so I can make changes to that particular tool. Now we're inside of Gimp. This is how it looks. If I want to change any of this, I can go over here to edit, down to preferences, and here is where I can change the size of my fonts, things like that. Default image size 1920 by 1080. You can change all that if you want. You want this to be 300 DPI resolution. As you go down, there are more things you can change here. The theme itself, so I have that theme or I have this theme, and this is your scaling again to scale how small or large you want these icons, and that's what we did earlier. Then we have icons, so this is default, which will be black and white, and legacy of course is going to be color. The toolbox, I want to make sure that I show active image, which is right there, and I want to show what brush I'm using. And again, these are just some more options down here you can go through and check out if you need to or when you need to. We're going to say OK on that. I probably want to make these a little bit bigger. Basically, this is just a basic top menu, open, save. Here's your edit down here. If you want to change your shortcut keys, go to edit and go down to shortcut keys, and you can search for what you want. And these are the basic menus. Filters, different blurs you can use, different tools, colors. I can do some auto coloration here. Saturation, exposure changes there. These are my layers. Image, different views, full screen, F11, keep that in mind. What you want to do is try to remember all the shortcuts, because when you're editing, you want to use as many shortcuts as possible. I can check on Gimp what version I'm using, and again, we're using version 3.0. Over here we have tools we can use. First one's going to be our alignment tool or our move tool. Again, try to remember the shortcuts. So if I want to quickly align, I just press Q as in quit. If I want to move or go back to my arrow, basically, or cursor, I'll just press M as in Mary. Rectangle tool, ellipse tool, R and E as in Edward. Scissors tool, free select tool. And so just get familiar with these tools. If you want to crop, just press Shift plus C as in cat. These are my rotate, flip, perspective tools. Try to remember the shortcuts. Flipping, just Shift F as in Frank. These are the tool options, so I can adjust those tool options once I select that particular tool. My tool brush tool. That's how we navigate our tools menu, and just left click on it and you'll get options that you can explore. And a lot of this doesn't mean a whole lot until we start actually doing projects. But over here we have our foreground, which is white, and our background. We can swap that out like that. and have black to white or white to black. Click on it. We can change them both to different colors. Over here, if I click on this, I'm going to bring up my brushes. And these are my patterns right here. You can show gradients as well. These are my toolbar options. So if I can't find my toolbar options, just press Y as in yes, and they'll pop up for whatever icon I have selected up here. And you need to be able to make changes here. So tool options, device status, undo history, and images. And pretty much that explains this side. Over here, we have text right here. You see AA, that's text. This right here will be my gradient or fade to gradients. If I click on this menu, then it brings up options for just what I have selected here. Let's try that again with the text. Here's my fonts. If I go over here to this arrow and I go down to add tab, now I can add different tabs, brushes, color, pointers, different options I can add to this section here. I can also grab a section and move it over here and move things around. And then my layers are very important. The layer options are, of course, I can lock it, see it, or not see it. FX is when I apply filters. And these are the filters up here. I can insert blurs. I can enhance video, noise reduction, bypass, insert shadows and things like that. Decor, I can insert borders and add bevels and rounded corners. So there's a lot of things you can do inside filters, but filters are very important. And that's what the FX is. So if I do insert a filter, now with 3.0, I can go back and make changes to it. But now they're non-destructive. Layers are very important. Normally when I bring in an image, I'm going to create a duplicate of that image like that. Then I'll take the original and I'll make it on scene. I can lock it as well. Work on your copy. Then any changes I create is create a new layer like that. I can make it transparent and change a lot of options here. And then I can start doing things on these layers up here. Now I can also select layers, which is something I couldn't do before. Select all, select one. Couldn't do that before version 3.0. Here I can move layers up and down. I can actually create a new layer group and group these together. Here I can merge all this together. And we can add layer mask and delete layers. But this is the mode. I can make it normal. I can add compositing to the layer as well. So layers are very important, and we'll talk more about those as we actually do projects. And then over here to the left, we have presets. So that's a basic understanding of the interface. And with that said, none of this means anything until we start working on specific projects. So what I'm going to do is try to address the list on YouTube and in Google, as well as the requests that I've received over the past 2 or 3 years. Without further ado, let's get started. First, we're going to change a one color background or make it transparent. And this works on a single color background. Go up and select our Select by Color tool or press Shift plus O as in Oscar and click on the background. Go over to the right and click on our image and our layers and go down to Add Alpha Channel. Make sure you select the background, and over here I can change some of the parameters, feathering, things like that. Once you're done with that, you just press Delete. To invert this, you can press Ctrl or Command plus I and delete the person or an object. So invert, Control, Command plus I, and an object or the person is gone. Now let's change a color of an object, like for a mock-up for a t-shirt. Go up to Edit, let's go down to Copy, or press Control or Command plus C, create a new layer. Make sure it's transparent, press OK. Go back to Edit, go down to Paste. Go to your layers, click on your top layer. Let's go back over to our select tools and don't select by color, but select the fuzzy select or press U as an underdog. Now click on the t-shirt or any object you want to change the color to. I can make changes over here, add more or subtract from that. And then of course turn on feathering and make your adjustments. When you're done with that, go up to colors, come down to colorize. And now we can change that t-shirt by clicking on color to any color we like. And if you have multiple colors you want to use, just make duplicates of this layer and then just add the different colors to different layers. If I click on the color, I can change the hue, saturation, brightness, whatever you want. I can do a split screen and see before and after. So this works very well. And there are other ways to do this as well that work just as good, if not better. And there are tons of videos out there on this. Okay, let's move on. A more precise way to change your color would be to use the Paths tool right here, or you can press I, and this is a more intelligent way to select the edges in your image. Let me show you what I mean. We're going to use this later as well. So press I. Here, hold down shift to go around her hand or her fingers, sorry. And let's go from here and see if it does it. Yeah, it did a pretty good job. Let's see if we can just skip all the way down to here. Yep, we can. And this is why I like this tool, because it's intelligent. To me, it's quasi AI. And see how it's going to snap? Let's just go straight over and snap it up. Then we'll snap up onto here, and then we'll snap over here and around her hair, and see how it gets a little fuzzy there. So let's create multiple anchors. Now I can zoom in, and when I see that little anchor there, I can connect those dots. Press enter. Now press Control or Command plus Shift plus J as in Jack to zoom out. At that point, once it's selected, I can go up to Colors, down to Colorize, and then change that shirt any color I want. Remove an image from a background, but today we're going to use what we call the Intelligence Select tool or the Scissor Select tool. And this used to be called the IntelliSelect tool because it has a little bit of AI in it. Let me show you what I mean. First thing you want to do is right click on your image, go down to Layers, and go down to Transparency and add Alpha Channel. Then press I as in Internet or select the Scissors tool. And now we can zoom in on her and just start going around her hair. Unlike the Paths tool, as you can see, it's going to try to make a good line for you. Let's go down her arm to her elbow. And here I can make smaller changes on the dots just to go around here, like the Paths tool. And you can make feathering and other changes here. This is a difficult picture to do because, as you can see, there's not a lot of contrast between her white jacket and the background. Let's go around here and get to the top. To connect, go over to this dot where I started. That plus, as you can see, is going to change, or whatever that thing is going to change to a link. Now I can link that, press enter. If I press delete now, she'll be gone. Press Control or Command plus Z as in zebra. Now press Control or Command plus I as in internet. Now press delete. Now she's there and the background's gone. If you want to export this, make sure you export this as a PNG file. So up here, you're going to change the extension to PNG. Otherwise, it will not be transparent. Well, I hope that helps you out. All right, let's move on. Here's a good tip on how to use the Select tool a little bit better, but also how to quickly use that same method to blur out a background. Let me show you what I mean. Press I again, Select tool. If I'm trying to turn a corner, hold down Shift and now click. And it will give you more of a circular shape going around. If I want to change this line, what I want to do is click and hold, and it should turn yellow. Now if I want to re-snap it, it's going to re-snap wherever I am on the line, as you can see. So that's how you can make changes. I didn't bring that up in the last video because the lines were pretty straight. And this doesn't have to be perfect because we're trying to blur the background. That's all we're trying to do here. And what I'll do here is I'll make multiple anchor points just to get around a curve or a complicated shape. And again, I'm holding down Shift here to try to get more of a circle. Now here, wait till you see the links, the two chains or two links, and then click. Now we can scroll back out. Now press enter again like we did last time. So we have our marching ants. If I hit delete now, he's going to be gone. We know how that works, right? Now press Control or Command I. We're going to invert that. Then we'll go up here to Filters, come down to Blur, and go over to Gaussian blur. I can make some changes here. As you can see, they'll start to affect the photograph automatically. We'll just stick with that for simplicity's sake. Now press Control or Command plus Shift plus A as an apple to deselect our subject. And that's what we have. A background that has been blurred out. Freckles are natural and they're attractive. But say if she had moles or big pimples she wanted to get rid of, or this little indentation right here, what you want to play around with here, the clone tool and the healing tool. So C or H. Let's zoom in. So let's work with this right here. If I press C, I can take an area around this indentation right here and cover it with that. I press Control and I pick an area, and then I just kind of wipe over that area with that. And as you can see, it's easy to remove anything from someone's face. I can also go over here and do it. And then you can just keep going around like this. You may not want that right there, but see how it's darker? So what you want to do now is press C again and then clone around that area so we get a better match. So let's press Control and then let's try that. A lot better. Let's get these right up in here. Control and then just kind of drag along there. And that's a lot better. You can also use, of course, the H tool or Heal tool. So let's go Heal. And then let's zoom in about right here. And then I'm just going to do this. And one of them is going to copy another application of the face to the other face is to remove wrinkles from under people's eyes. So if I just press Control or Command and click around the area that I want to heal and then just stroke into that area or into the wrinkles here, I can do some photo retouches like this. And if you're trying to update your resume pic or your profile pic, then you can clean up and retouch areas around your face like this. And I'm doing this relatively fast, but you want to take your time. Just make sure that the area that you're trying to heal, you stay within that region. So you're going to use the clone tool and the heal tool to accomplish that. I have a more detailed photo retouching video in lesson number 1 and lesson number 2 in Gimp. If you want to check that out, I'll link those below. I'll link my entire Gimp playlist below. And at this point, we can take a look at her before and after. It's good for cold sores and blisters on the lips and things like that. The next quasi AI tool I want to show you in Gimp involves filters. If I go to filters, I can do blurs, Gaussian blurs, different things, cartoon image conversions. They're not AI, but I call them quasi AI. But you can do a lot of things. You can round the corners. You can make it a watercolor or oil painting. You can make it to an old photograph, for example. You always get these options, so I can change these and then press OK. Revert that, and there you go. But here, mapping, if I'm trying to place somebody into a wall and make it look real, I can do things like displacement and bump mapping. So filters are something that you can use, and they do a lot of cool things to your photographs. So check all this out. Cartoon, let's bump some of this stuff up so we can really see the effects. So there's your cartoonish looking, and you can change the parameters again, so you don't have to stick with whatever it gives you by default. Let's go up to color and come down to color balance, and I can do a lot of this stuff manually, right? Curves, we know what those are. But in the auto section, I can also auto equalize and color enhance. I can do a split preview. So here I can say, okay, this is what it looks like before and after. And say if I wanted to combine these two photographs, what I might want to do first is remove the background. That should be pretty simple. Let's go back over here, press I, and we're going to use our intelligent select tool. Press enter, control or command plus shift plus J as in Jack. Right click on the image down here in the layer section and go to add alpha channel. Press control or command plus I as in invert. Now press delete and the background's gone. Now we can press control or command plus C as in cat to copy her and then paste her over here. Now move her. Press Shift plus S as in Sam to scale her. Hold down Shift and scroll out. And that's what we'll have. And we can move it around, make it perfect, but that's how you move one image to the other. Now we need to crop this, right? Shift plus C as in cat. We have our crop, and then we can just crop like that. Make sure that delete crop pixels is selected and press enter. And that's how we crop them. We know how to rescale. We know how to rotate. So if I go over here, I can flip this guy this way. Click him. He'll flip. He's flipping out. Woohoo. Shift plus R as in red. My rotational move. Or just rotate it there. You want to put text in. I'll just click on the text box here and I'll put in David. Now I can change the font here with Rockwell Bold, and we'll type in David. And that's really small, and of course we can change that. And then of course we can change the color here and make it blue. And then we're going to make this a whole lot bigger. And over here I can make changes to it. Let's center it. And this will be text right here. It's just David. Press M for the move tool, and we can move David around anywhere we want. So that's how text works. Say for example we wanted to blur one of these people's faces out. Let's zoom in. And maybe this guy will be a good candidate for that. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab the free select tool, or press F as in Frank, and left click by his face. And let's rectangle around his face. See, it's highlighted. Then go up to filters, come down to blur, and go down to Gaussian blur. And now we can make slight adjustments here and quickly and easily blur his face out, and only his face. And there you have it. You can also do a split screen before and after. Press Control Command plus Shift plus A to unselect him. Say for example we want to cover her up with a different photograph. We could just highlight her and remove her, but then we'll have a blank space. So let's replace her with another person. You can do that pretty easily as well too. First we'll have to cut them out. So let's find a cutout candidate. How about him? And let's go ahead and cut him out. Just left click on top of his head, press Shift, and start just going around his body. Okay, here I can just press enter and get those marching ants. And now we can press Control or Command plus C to copy him and then paste him somewhere else. To paste him, press Control or Command plus V as in victory. If you do have a background, you can right click on him and add alpha channel. Drag him over, press Shift plus S as in Sam to scale him. And it's not perfect, but I think you get the point. We can also go back on the other side and do some feathering. Let's do a few more changes here. Okay, let's move on. So if I want to save this, I can save the project as right here. Shift, Control, Command plus S as in Sam, or export that. Shift plus Control or Command plus E as in Edward. And basically right here, I can just change the extension to either a PNG. Right now, by default, it's a JPEG. I can change it to a PNG if I like. And that will be a transparent background. But a PNG is also the best way you can save a file and get the max amount of quality out of it. A JPEG is not. And that's how you save it. So just save as a PNG file. And then you'll get these options over here. And we'll exit this out. We'll export that. And that's what we have. I'm looking at this list and I think I covered everything on this list. And that covers it. So that gives you at least some basic understanding of how to use Gimp 3.0. If you're looking for more detailed lessons on Gimp and specific projects, I have an entire playlist. My Gimp lesson 1 and 2 is still applicable. You can put people inside walls. I teach you how to do a lot of different things. Then we have lessons on how to create ads and sports posters and things like that. And there are tons of lessons out there. If you want to see me do anything in particular, please let me know. Please leave any comments, suggestions, or ideas below. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm wishing you and your family the very best in 2025. Peace.